Attention is the most expensive operation inside a transformer, which means every bit of speed you squeeze out of it makes models cheaper to train and cheaper to serve. On March 5th, 2026, TriDao, one of the original authors behind FlashAttention, published FlashAttention-4, and the numbers are striking. It reportedly hits 1,605 teraflops in BF16 on an Nvidia B200, running at 71% of the chip's theoretical peak. Let's walk through what makes it that fast. Start with the headline speedups, because they set the stakes for everything that follows. Raw throughput first. 1,605 teraflops on AB200 is close to the chip ceiling of about 1,613. 71% utilization on Attention is a level people simply were not reaching before this. For a kernel that used to leave the tensor cores half idle, getting anywhere near the theoretical peak is a real milestone. Then come the direct comparisons. The authors report roughly 1.3 times faster than CUDA 9.13, about 2.7 times faster than the Triton kernel, and 3.6 times faster than FlashAttention-2 on the forward pass at a 32,000 sequence length. Beating a heavily tuned vendor library like CUDA is not easy, so that 1.3 is arguably the most impressive number in the set. And the backward pass keeps up, reportedly around 3.15 times faster than FlashAttention-2. That matters because training spends most of its time in the backward pass, so the win is not just an inference story. Faster gradients mean cheaper training runs, and that is where a lot of real compute budget actually goes. Here's the shift in mindset that makes those numbers possible. Generic kernels aim to run acceptably everywhere. They keep the same structure across GPU generations, which is portable and convenient, but it leaves a lot of the newest hardware's capabilities sitting idle because the code was never written to exploit them. You get a kernel that works fine on paper and quietly wastes silicon in practice. Building around the hardware flips that. FlashAttention-4 is built specifically for Blackwell, reshaping the algorithm around exactly what that architecture does well. You give up some portability, and in exchange the kernel finally tracks the silicon instead of fighting it. So the co-design comes down to a handful of concrete techniques layered together like a pipeline. First, fully asynchronous matrix multiply. The tensor cores keep working while data movement happens in parallel, so the expensive units almost never sit idle waiting for memory. Second, larger tiles. Processing bigger blocks of the attention matrix at once amortizes overhead and keeps those async pipelines saturated with useful work instead of stalling between small chunks. Third, a smarter softmax. It uses a software-emulated exponential plus conditional risk scaling. So the normalization step stops being the quiet bottleneck. It usually is inside Attention. That risk scaling only kicks in when it's actually needed, which saves work on the common path. And fourth, tensor memory paired with a 2CTA matrix multiply mode. Together, they cut shared memory traffic, which is exactly the resource that used to throttle Attention on earlier designs. Relieve that pressure, and the rest of the pipeline finally has room to run at full speed. Let's pull the essentials together. The kernel from TriDao, published in March, reaches about 1,600 teraflops in BF16 on AB200, near 71% utilization. Reported speedups include 1.3 times over CUDA, 2.7 over Triton, and 3.6 over FlashAttention-2 on the forward pass. The gains come from co-designing with Blackwell, async matrix multiply, larger tiles, emulated softmax, and tensor memory that cuts shared memory traffic. Bottom line, FlashAttention throughput now tracks the hardware because the kernel was designed hand in hand with it. Curious about more of the system side of AI? You'll find explainers like this waiting at Standarity.com.